Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at the Pandarus Infinity Arrows. So these are new in. Now, Pandarus is a Chinese arrow manufacturer. Now, they make arrows for a lot of different companies. So if you see an arrow branded, they may make them for them. So Pandarus originally contacted me and said, would you like to shoot some of our arrows or try them out? And I was like, sure. And they sent me some. I tried them. They were like X10s. And I've been shooting them for a couple of months now, and I've shot extremely well with them, and I haven't busted any. They've been amazing. Like, I've shot really good scores with them, and I have tried other arrows, but I haven't found an arrow which I've shot better scores with, so I've stuck with them, and I will be shooting them this weekend in the National Championships. Anyway, they've just sent me in the latest arrows. So they produce a whole bunch of arrows. So standard 6.2 arrows, which are your hunting arrows, traditional arrows as far as like carbon with wood look. These are a 4.2, so this is a 4.2 carbon arrow. 4.2 is like a Victory VAP, a carbon 1 from Eastern, a gold tip Pierce. So it's your thin carbon arrow for target archery. There is one size smaller, which is 3.2, which is equivalent to your X10, Eastern X10 arrow, your Skylon Paragon arrow, or your Black Eagle Revelation arrow. So they also make that arrow, so the 3.2. So they make your 6.2, your 5.2, your 4.2s, your 3.2s, your aluminium carbon in a barrel shape, your aluminium carbon in a parallel shape, and your aluminium carbon in a tapered shape, like an X10 Pro Tour for compound. So they pretty much make lots of arrows. So these arrows, why are we interested in these? So there's 4.2. These are a cheap target arrow. They weigh, obviously, grains per inch. They weigh very similar to your Skylon Radius arrows. They're a .003, which is better than your Skylon Radius. Skylon Radius are a .05 to a .06, and I shot amazing with those arrows. So these are a .03, so slightly straighter. You can get them in not as straight finish, but these are a .003. Slightly cheaper than a Skylon Radius, so slightly cheaper per dozen. So we're talking under $100 a dozen made. So super cheap. They come with a bullet point. Now I've glued the points in. They come in a shaft with the vane, with the pin, and the nock. The nock is a small groove nock, so I'm going to have to change this nock because we're going to shoot compound with these. The vanes themselves look very similar to an AE vane, so they've got little ripples in them. Now you'll see with these are straight out of the box. Some of the vanes, see that one there? The vanes are not straight. So some people get annoyed with me. So they will say, oh look, the vanes aren't straight. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put some nocks on these arrows. Nocks come in two sizes, small groove or large groove. We're going to fit some large groove nocks to them, and we're going to shoot with these arrows and see how we shoot with them. We're going to put them through a chronograph, see how they compare in speed compared to some other arrows. And then we're going to shoot some groups with them and see how they group. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to straighten these vanes out. We're going to shoot with them with the bent vanes, see how that shoots. I think it'll shoot absolutely fine. So a lot of customers, when I say a lot, very small percentage, will go, well, these vanes aren't thing. And you'll see my vanes, and I'll just go and grab them. Right, so these are my target vanes. So you'll see that, look, I shoot. They just get hacked, this one here. So this one here is a problem. So you see here, it's like it's starting to rip. So like that's fine. If you like this will be fine. And you go and say, well, that's crazy, Stephen. That's crazy talk. Literally, I shoot. This is what I do. I shoot 100 arrows a night, and the vanes will get ripped and torn. And if you see me shoot tournaments, you will often see me with vanes like that in tournaments, shooting them, and I will have no issues shooting them at all because they shoot in the same spot. The only problem you have with the vane normally is if they're ripped and that vane is flapping around, or if the front of the vane is loose, then that arrow will get massive wind drag and drop low in the target. So generally, like that sort of thing doesn't worry me. If it worries you, that's fine. You just cut them off and stick new veins on. But I'm more interested in shooting arrows than making my arrows look pretty. Right? So I come home, shoot lots of arrows. That's what I'm interested in. But we're going to shoot these like they are. Now, the reason why they're like this is when they ship them, they put them in a box. So they put all these are 400 spine arrows. They put them all in a box. So they're in like that. And as a result, the veins get scrunched together. And you're going to say, well, why don't they space them apart? Because you can't fit as many arrows in the box if you spread them all apart. So in a standard box with them like that, I'm going to say they fit about 4 dozen arrows. If you space them all apart so the veins don't touch, you fit 1 dozen arrows. So it's 4 dozen arrows versus 1 dozen arrows. Now in shipping, a thing of arrows, a box of arrows will weigh about 3 kilograms in mass weight. So to ship that in will be about $30. You cannot ship these things in if you're going to want to sell them for $100 if you're paying $30 freight. So if I'm bringing them in like that and there's 4 dozen in the box, that means it's $8 a dozen. So $8 a dozen I'm paying in freight, basically. All right. Now I'm going to get this out, because I'll show you how to get it out. You can use a hairdryer and just apply a bit of heat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip these in hot water, and this should hopefully straighten up. But we'll do that in the video as well. So let me fit some pins to these. The pin nocks are just a pressure fit. They're not glued on because you shoot the nocks off. Hopefully I'll shoot some nocks off. So these are just a pressure fit. They look like an Eastern knock, and I'm going to say, well, look, Biter told me off because they said that one of these knocks, not this company, another company, knock looked like their knock. I don't even remember it now because it was so long ago. It was many years ago, and I didn't think it looked like a Biter knock. But I don't know what the patents are. I don't know. But this looks like an Eastern knock, and I think because my friend Rick McKinney said that there's no patents on pin knocks, but Biter said they've got a patent on the shape of their knock, so I don't know. Anyway, this looks like an Eastern knock. It looks quite good quality. The other knock this looks like is an Avalon knock, so I assume the Avalon knocks and the Pandarus knocks come out the same factory. I'm assuming they may not, but that'd be my gut feeling. So anyway, let's fit some knocks. Let's take this through the test and see how they shoot. Okay, so with all my reviews, I haven't shot these arrows before. We've just I fitted the boning smooth release knock to it. No reason why I picked this versus any other knock, and honestly I found very little difference between knocks. I've done reviews where I've compared the knocks, and I literally haven't found much difference between one knock and the rest, and I've shot plenty. So shoot whichever knock you want. I was going to put on Biter knocks, but this pack was here and it was green, so I was like, green matches nicely with these veins. So now arrow weight. Now the average archer, and when I say the average archer wants an affordable shaft as far as a made arrow. They generally don't want to make them themselves. They want an affordable shaft. Now, for a hunter, they'll want screw-in field points so they can change to broadheads. So these arrows are not that. These are target arrows. This is for target shooting. They have target points. They have break-off points, so you can basically change the weight of them if you want to increase or decrease your spine. But I would say of people who come in my store, 80% are going to want just a cheap, affordable target arrow. So that's 80%. So 80% of people are probably going to be interested in these shafts, these arrows. Some people want to make their own arrows because they want to put their own veins on, they want to put spin wings on, they want to put a different type of vein on. So some people want to make their own. The problem with making your own is you need a fletch and jig, you need to buy veins, you need to buy glue. So most people won't make their own. This company does have the shafts available. So Pandarus Infinity shafts are available. They're about $30 a dozen cheaper. So it's much better to buy them already made, as far as basically they don't charge you much to make them. So we're going to compare the speeds of these to the Victory VAPs I've got. Now the Victory VAPs is quite a light arrow, and but it's got a heavier point on it. So it's got 140 grain. This is 120 grain, I'm pretty sure. So let's just try this out. ...266 feet per second. And it sounded really good. It was nice and smooth. Perfectly pointing back from the target, better than I could expect. So this is my target arrow. So this is a Victory VAP. I've had these arrows for literally 3-4 years. I've been shooting these arrows. And like I said, these are a hybrid vein. They are very similar veins, like incredibly similar. I don't know if there's much difference in them, but incredibly similar. ...263 feet per second. Now, the reason you've got some difference here, the Pandarus Infinity Arrow is a little bit heavier than the VAP, however it's got a lighter point. So the point's 20 grains lighter. Now you can fit the VAP points to these arrows, you can fit the toe point points, you can fit whatever points you want. It's a standard 166 shaft, so you can fit whatever you want to it. But they come with the points and I wouldn't change from them. Now, what this does, it tells me my sight settings are going to be almost identical with these arrows to my Victory VAPs, which is good because it means I'm going to be on the target. So with that, let's take these back and see how well I shoot at 20 meters with these arrows. It's always very scary doing this video first off because that was the first time I've ever shot one of these arrows. So we'll see how well they shoot. Okay, so before we shoot these arrows, let's start with the thing up front. I've been shooting a lot of recurve lately. I haven't been shooting much compound. So that's my excuses before I start. You could say the veins are bent, but I don't think that's going to make any difference. Look, I think I'm going to shoot good. So we're shooting the result 36. This is just my old crappy stuff on it. Just cheap stabilizers. So I think these are going to shoot well, so let's see how they go. And I think they're going to go well because they're the same speed as the VAPs. They look like they're coming out straight, and they should come out good. And I think I might even shoot better with these than the VAPs. And my theory for that is I think the VAPs are slightly stiff. And I think a slightly weaker spine arrow is going to shoot better. Now, spine is not as critical with the compound as it is a recurve. A recurve, it's got to bend right around the bow. Very hard to get an arrow to bend around the bow at the right time. Compounds, they shoot pretty much straight. Now, I was talking to the owner of Pandarus. He talks all the time, like sends me messages all the time and asks me how things are going and lets me know. Now, he messaged me the other day and said a Russian archer shot this amazing score. And it was 705 out of 720, which is amazing. I haven't looked up what the world record is. But they're comparing the Pandarus arrows to X10 arrows. And I was like, well, why are the Russians shooting the Pandarus arrows versus X10s? And then I remember there's a war going on and America's not exporting stuff to Russia. So maybe there'll be a whole bunch of Chinese bows and arrows being shot by Russian archers. But anyway, apparently they've been getting very, very good results, so should be interesting. that was just a bad shot on my part. Pulled away like that on my shot. Now the vanes are like bent. Now, this bow is not feeling the way I'd want my bow to feel. Obviously I haven't set up, this is one I did a review with. And I've shot this bow a fair few times, and I've shot good scores with this bow, so you know, don't let my excuses deter me, but it's not how I would want the bow to be set up. The D-loop's too long. Let's go down and see how those arrows are, and then we're going to shoot one more because I think I can shoot better than that. Okay, so my arrows are out to the left a little bit. This one was the one I pulled across the thing. They're slightly high, so we're going to adjust my sight settings. I'm going to shoot this again because I think I can stick these in the middle. I think I can shoot 4 arrows smack in the middle. So let's do it again, and I've got to warm up a little bit because I haven't warmed up yet before I did the video. This is literally the first 4 arrows, but let's go and shoot some more. I'm having big issues with clothes. It's really cold today, and different clothes make your shoulders, it makes it, I'm finding it more difficult to shoot with lots of clothes on and with particular clothes on. So it's me making excuses again for not putting them in the middle. So a little bit high and a little bit to the left. My sight has all spider webs on it, so you can see, I don't know how long ago I did the review of this bow. There's like, let's go and see. That was good. Again, you know, when people go say, oh, you know, you slapdash or whatever with your vanes, I am really more interested in my shooting. It's like, I cannot stress it enough. You literally have customers who come into the shop, you know, they're worried about a left tear or whatever. Most of it comes down to you, to the shooter. And like that shot was a good shot. So it's all, especially with recurve. Recurve is brutal on you if your form's not spot on. But like this time, I'm not even moving around the target. So that first end, because that was my first end, I was moving around, I was shaking around, and which is why I took off my jumper. I was like, I just don't feel like I'm getting my shoulders back where I need them, where I want them to be. So again, if you come into an archery shop, a lot of customers come in and go, we want the cheapest arrows you've got, like $3 arrows. It's like, well, how do you make an arrow for $3? I find these arrows so affordable. I'm going to say cheap, so affordable. Fletched, pins, pin knot points for what, under $100. Amazing. I don't know how they do it. That was a good shot. I think that were 4 good shots. Thank God. I literally, when I shoot good shots, I'm like, yes, I feel good. And this is why I do archery. I feel good when I shoot good shots. I used to play a lot of basketball, and like when I shoot good shots at basketball, same thing. I feel good. Let's go and have a look at those shots. Okay, so really tight group in the middle. They would all be X's. And that was just like a couple of clicks on the sight and back in the thing. Now, again, the vanes were rubbish, right? The vanes, like people are going to complain and whinge about it. It's not going to affect your archery. When you shoot an arrow out, the vane, basically, this bit out here, it's not doing a lot. It's just basically directing the arrow. And it's going to take a while for the arrow to get its direction. These are a bit stiffer, but basically it gives the arrow direction. The arrow should shoot okay without vanes on the thing. So this is just to help the arrow get stable out of the thing. So as long as the vanes aren't torn, as long as there's some length to them, height, like you got blazer vanes that are high to give you more stability, and the blazer vanes obviously high and fairly stiff to give more stability. But I prefer long and short, so to avoid wind. That's for target. For hunting, I will probably experiment with 3s with low profile versus the blazer 2 high profile. What we're going to do is I'm going to put this in hot water and let's see if they straighten up. Okay, so we've got a cup of tea. So we've got boiling hot water in here, and normally you'd be dunking a tea bag in here or some bickies. But we're dunking arrows in here. So I did put these arrows under tap water, so just hot tap water, and they didn't really straighten up. But this is hot cup of tea, and there's your vanes now. That's about 1 minute. So you can see there's a little kink in 1 minute. Leaving them a bit longer. 1 minute. They're not even, that's boiling water. These are not, they're not even warm yet. Look, they will straighten up. It's just, so when I get customers, like I sold these, Victory had some pre-made arrows and they're really cheap. They were less than the cost of the shafts they sold them for. And some of them had some little kinks in because of the packing reason I've said. And the person went, oh, for the price of them. And I'm like, they're less than the cost of the shafts. I was like, just cut the vanes off and you got yourself cheaper than the price of the shafts. Anyway, I was like, if you're not happy, send them back. And it's just not an issue. That's all. And it's like so easy. Hit it with a hairdryer. Dunk it in water, or don't even bother, just go shoot them. Look, arrows, they're going to sit in your quiver and they're just going to get some bending anyway. Now, I would suggest, because I just literally pulled these out of the packet before filming, literally 30 minutes ago, I grabbed these out of the bunch, which was like that in the thing, and then started shooting them to do this video. And you can see they shot fine. And now they're pretty straight. You'll probably find, yeah, I'm fine now. So you'll probably find that by the time you get them, they'll be straight anyway, because they would have just come to their normal position. Like that was the really bent one. You can still see there's a bit of bend there, but that will come out if you left it in the cup of hot tea for a couple of minutes more. Anyway, Pandarus arrows, they've got a few other brands which we're going to check out. I couldn't be happier. Literally, I could not be happier. I think the printing looks nice. I think it looks fantastic. Now let's compare the other arrows on the market. Victory VAPs are more expensive. They are a good arrow. Nothing wrong with Victory VAPs, but they're a multitude, 3 times more expensive than these arrows. Skyline radiuses are similar in price, but not as straight, and they're very hard to get at the moment. Like I can't get any. Like the Skyline don't have any, so it's like, well, they are fine. They shoot good, but look, they're almost the same as this. And look, let's zoom up really close. The finish on these arrows is just spot on. They look fantastic. If you want an arrow to be quicker, so the person who I'm going to think about is, well, who aren't these arrows suitable for? So they're clearly suitable for a compound archer. If you're low poundage, either a recurve or compound, and you want to shoot long distance, you may have to look at a lighter arrow, as far as one that weighs lighter, so less grains per inch, because you want more speed for longer distances. Some people are just going to say, well, that's more important to have a heavier arrow for long distance to get less wind drift with. That's not my case. It's not my case at all. I don't believe in that. I think for low poundage, where you're struggling to reach the target, you need lighter arrows. And I think your scores will pick up substantially with lighter arrows. I'm not talking about point weight, because I think point weight still keep your point weight up, but lighter grains per inch if you're struggling to hit the target. So I've got a theory myself. For 90 meters with a recurve, my arrows are like lobbing. I'm going to try some very extremely light arrows with, maybe have medium weight points, and see if I can actually pick up my 90 meter score. So I've got a theory with that. I don't know if I'll be right or wrong, but we'll see. I think I'll be right, but we'll see. Anyway, Pandarus Infinity Arrows, really good price point, really solid, very good vanes, very happy with the vanes, very happy with the pins, very happy with the nocks, and they're all standard. So all standard nocks points will work. So if you don't like the look of these points, you can fit the victory points to them. I wouldn't. I just stick with these. They are break off, but I just keep life simple. These look nice. Yeah, Pandarus Infinity Arrows. Fully recommend them for target arrows. And the thing I like about them is, if you're on a budget, and most people are, if you're on a budget, you can afford to have a couple dozen of these in your quiver to practice with, because shooting more arrows is more important than anything. So I'd rather you have 24 arrows in your quiver and shoot 24 arrows at a time and shoot more arrows, than to have 3 arrows in your quiver or get to a tournament and not have enough arrows to shoot, which I've seen on many, many occasions. So price of these is great. It's going to make it affordable for you to get started, and hopefully I've got all the specs there about grains per inches, so you can compare them to other arrows and make your choice. But .003 is awesome. I shoot the Victory VAPs .005 or 06 at competition. I cannot pick the difference between those and the .001s. Haven't been able to pick the difference. I haven't known anyone who can pick the difference. So I think .003 will be perfectly good. And these look good. So anyway, we'll try them out. Thanks for watching. Bye.